Arco has a lot of diverse crags, and still quite a few crags I've actually never been to. And for me it's always a great situation coming to a crag I've never been and just trying to onsight as many routes as possible. This is from Castello di Drena, 8B called Braboletta, with quite steep and powerful moves at the very beginning, with pretty decent holds, pretty far apart, and they were not exactly obvious from the ground, especially as the route was not really chalked up. When onsighting, this is actually a good trick of just moving one quick draw from one bolt to another. That is quite useful, especially if you are onsighting a route that hasn't quick draws in place. Oops! This was a little bit underestimation of this move. The left foothold is quite slippery and yeah, it definitely sucked falling on my first try. I just went down and gave it immediately a second try. I underestimated this move a little bit again. I definitely paid more attention to not slipping, but putting my right foot up was definitely quite hard. It was not the most efficient, the easiest way how to get up. But if you're onsighting, even though this is not onsighting, that section was pretty much already an onsight. It's always hard to find the best possible solution. But sometimes the most efficient way while you're onsighting is just to see the first method that you know about, that you think about, that it's possible, instead of just hanging for a long time. Then it was few moves, a little bit easier into this rest, and then the climbing, to be honest, didn't look pretty obvious and didn't look nice at all. In that section the rock looked pretty chossy, and for a moment I thought like, oh, there is no way that this will ever be climbed. But in the end there were some chalked, used holds. I just had a little bit of hard time to find them. But after clipping this quick draw, the climbing was getting a little more obvious, but at the same time a bit harder. Here the quality of the rock gets better, and the higher you are, the nicer the climbing is. It's always a little bit interesting to onsight on this kind of rock where we have lots of different tiny crimpers. It's kind of hard to decide which crimper is the best, especially if there is not enough chalk on the rock. After taking a little bit of rest, I was not really sure where to continue. I thought maybe going 1 meter higher up, but then it was obvious to me that I have to start traversing a little bit lower using these crimpers, which were quite bad, and entering the last section of the route, which is the best part of the route. Pretty continuous climbing on tiny holds and not always the most obvious where to go next. Here I was hesitating a little bit before I actually realized that I have to go with my left hand again. That was maybe the crux of the whole route. Pretty cool very last move, which involves this good throw into an amazing jug. It's always nice to have the finishing hold, good jug, a jug that you can easily clip the last quick draw, and yeah, enjoy the view. The second route of the day is Occhio della Tigre, the Eye of the Tiger, 8A+, which is definitely one of the best in the whole Arco region. Has a really good rock and combines some tiny holds, some crimpers with amazing tufas on the top. This is kind of strange section that definitely wakes you up after easier very beginning first 3 bolts. Maybe not my most favorite part. Then the climbing gets steeper and has really amazing flow on some of the bigger slopers and tufas. When I was a little kid, I just enjoyed on-site climbing. Just climbing as many routes as possible in a day on my on-site try. And it was pretty often that if I fell on my on-site try, I wasn't even interested in giving it second go. It was just on-site or nothing. And I think thanks to that, thanks to just so much experience of on-siting, I just developed a skill that often if I'm on-siting, it almost looks like I am climbing it on my red point try. It almost seems like I already know what to do. But it's more based on my intuition, in kind of guessing that this is going to be the best possible way. And in order to gain this intuition, I think you just need to climb on your on-site a lot. And just developing and working on your intuition. And in the end, I think this could be maybe the most fun of climbing. Climbing a beautiful route on your first try, feeling the flow and efficiency.